Gen V episode 5
Yes.
might be one of my favorite ever episodes of a TV show.
Oh, I don't know if I can say that.
It is right up there for me. There is not an individual episode that I can think of off the top of my head that I'm like, no, that is definitely clearing it. I know there will be a couple, although I can't remember which ones from Breaking Bad, that are right up there as well. There'll be some from other shows as well. There's a couple in Suits potentially.
Hmm.
But this episode was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. It was a phenomenal episode and is definitely up there as like one of the top TV moments. My first note on this week's episode, right, is just holy shit, I did not expect Kate to be the bad one.
Chaos.
I honestly, pure chaos. I was watching it with my mate because I was on my girlfriend. It's like we were both there and we just kind of went, what the fuck? It's Kate? Like,
When she was like, oh my god, do I have one? And Marie went to check, and then you just see her uncovered hand appear. I'm like, oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
You know what it is? It's the moment in 22 Jump Street where Channing Tatum's character puts together that he
yeah,
slept with a daughter. I was
yeah,
like, oh shit.
yeah. It was it's like that moment you go, wait, it was Kate this whole time. And then your brain, like my brain's like, she did it. Like it all starts piecing together as to like every moment, like she's caused so many things.
Yeah. Absolute chaos.
And the Rufus bait and switch was so well done.
Yes. Absolutely. It's perfect. And again, they set it up in last week's episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
This guy that you have seen in the background of every other episode is Rufus. He has powers that are creepy as fuck, and he's using them to date rape people.
yep.
But he's also making people forget stuff, so that's kind of dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all wake up at the beginning of this episode, can't remember anything. And again, we fell into Kate's bait as well because she's the one who brought up Rufus.
Yes. She's the one who shows them on the TikTok
course,
video, if you notice
yeah.
that.
And all of us, like last week, we were like, I love Kate so much, she's brilliant. So when she goes, oh my god, Rufus, we, like idiots, like them, go, of course, we know Rufus. They planted the seeds so well.
Do you know what's also probably worse though? Remember how she tells them a story of like Rufus did the same thing to her. Probably all a lie. She used that to bait them all. I reckon that's a lie. I reckon she did that to help make Rufus seem more of the bad guy.
I would be inclined to agree if not for the fact we'd already see him try and pull the same shit.
Yeah,
And
but
here's the thing, what she described is exactly what Marie was snapped out of by Jordan banging on the door. Like the exact same setup, camera setup and everything. And because she wasn't there to know that's what had happened, I can genuinely believe that Rufus did that to her, and to her that was just making the story, like, you know, like the best way to lie is to tell 90%.
yeah.
I view it more that way. Plus, I don't want to believe Kate's completely evil because of her little redemption moment at the very end.
I don't know. Like,
so I think she's been put in a really tough position.
yes. Oh yeah. I mean, it's the same with like the boys. Everyone gets
shades of grey
essentially
everywhere.
blackmailed into doing the things that they like. They're forced to do the things they don't want to do.
The same thing that we got with the boys. It's 100% a case of there is shades of grey to everyone but the villain.
Yes.
Can we talk about the most ridiculous and phenomenal scene ever?
The puppets.
Oh my god, how did they make that so brutal?
It was so
like,
good.
Impressively brutal.
It's like the cartoon from Black Noir. It's the same situation of like, oh, we're getting Sesame Street puppets. Oh no, we've seen the boys. This is not going to be fun.
No, but it's more impressive than that because you have less control over puppets than you do animating stuff.
True.
But also, the puppet that was Sam even
Yes.
had his mannerisms.
Well, yeah, this is good puppetry.
Like that was for not. And I don't want to sound like a fucking idiot here, getting hyped over puppetry, but like at the end of that fight, before it cuts back to Sam, you see the puppet walking forward a little bit, and it has that kind of shoulders dropped really low, a little bit of a slouch with the head tilt as it's walking. Which Sam, that's how Sam has walked every time he's been involved in violence. I'm just like, that is so impressive in like a puppet, which is difficult to control.
Yeah.
To get that like that level of mannerism lineup was so impressive.
It was very well done, and like you say, incredibly brutal for a puppet scene. I also like that the way they showed Emma's puppet wasn't there, is it was flickering. So then you're like, oh, okay, that is definitely not part of this weird visual that he's having. I also loved that they 100% made sure that when it flicked back to real life, you could tell that all of those soldiers had been killed in the exact way we just watched.
Yeah,
which then adds more weight.
They made sure that you knew that what you saw is exactly what happened. And do you know what the funny thing is? You're almost sat there like, I'm glad they showed that with puppets because I might have thrown up.
Yeah, I don't think they could have got away with having that.
I mean, we've literally seen someone explode dick first.
We have, but
it would have been difficult to pull off.
Yeah.
But like, I don't understand how a show can have such genuinely well written and put together storytelling power of the, even though you know what they don't know, you're still trying to piece together why they don't know it.
Yes.
Like, that is so difficult to do when we know everything.
Yeah.
But we still don't know what we need to know to help them. That's such a compelling storytelling device.
And the whole like blackout, because obviously we said last week, the sudden cut to them in a bed, we were like, that was a weird way to end the episode. Makes so much more sense now. Them all waking up in this, like, they made that house the most frat boy house they could, with all the details everywhere and everything going on there. And they're like, oh, we partied. And then you're like, did they just get like blackout drunk that they've kind of forgotten?
Yeah.
Then they start to realize, hang on, we're forgetting stuff. Something's gone on here. Sam showing up obviously then helps add to that and get them questioning things. Can we also talk about the fact that Emma was giant in the pool?
Yeah.
That means Kate got close enough to Emma in giant form and then made her wipe to memory. I wonder if they just partied trying to forget what had just happened and she did it at the party.
No. She did it as that fight was going on.
Okay.
Yeah. Where it cut is where it started happening.
Okay.
But also, remember, they lost a whole day as well. So that party was the night after we saw.
Yeah.
Because what we saw last week was Thursday night.
Well, yeah,
they woke up Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So she's mind wiped them Thursday night and got them all to go to a party.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then mind wiped them again at the end of the party. So they think it happened at the party.
Well, I don't know if she mind wiped them at the end of the party. I think she got them all to party and drink and get blackout drunk. And you it's like getting blackout drunk. You don't remember what you did at the party.
Potentially. I think she might have had more difficulty getting them to go to the party with Sam still on the loose, though.
Oh, no,
I think she had to wipe them to get them to go to the party.
Oh, yeah. I think she wiped them to go. I don't think she wiped them off. I think she just used the party to make them...
Oh, potentially.
Just get blackout drunk at the party and forget about what they were doing at the party.
But
point about Emma, though.
Storylines come together. Go on.
Think of the amount of throw up she did.
Yeah. I was thinking, where?
When she's like,
she was like, find me somewhere to throw up. Like, bitch, where?
Like, you're gonna fill the pool. Like, what?
It's so impressive to have so many concurrent stories of different importances occupy equal amounts of my brain. So obviously the main story is, oh my god, how are they going to get their memory back? How are they going to work out what's going on? Are we going to get like a did you ever watch The Good Place?
No.
Okay. Spoilers for The Good Place. The Good Place is a sitcom about heaven.
Right.
But one person who was a piece of shit accidentally ends up in heaven.
Right.
And all the other people try and help her hide, or her friends try and help her hide in heaven.
Okay.
At the end of the first season,
Mm.
you find out this isn't actually heaven. It's
Oh.
been hell the whole time.
Oh.
And then, like, the first episode of season 2 is them constantly getting their mind reset 'cause they're trying to make this experiment work of
Mhm.
punishing people with the idea of heaven. I thought, are we going to get this kind of idea now where we're just like stuck in this loop and they keep on getting back to it and like
Mhm.
working out the problem again, and then they get fucking reset. But to have that, like, which is obviously the main, most important story, and at the same time, it's like they're like, okay, but I need Marie and Jordan to talk
To
to each
figure
other,
this figure this the fuck
so
out.
that they don't think the other person hates them, because they're
Yeah.
actually very good characters. I like them, and I want them to be happy at the end of this.
Yeah, it's that thing of like, we were seeing like, oh my god, there's something starting there. We're gonna get like a nice, and we talked about it last week, like bit of a relationship, and then it's suddenly their minds are wiped to before that kind of like kicked off, and you think, no, you've just lost something really important that was happening for the two of you. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't fair. I
But
like.
do you know what it does show?
Go on.
That their attraction to each other is absolutely real.
Mm-hmm.
Because they got their memory wiped, and then at the party they get drunk and they fucking find each other.
Yeah. And then they have their thing when they wake up, like, oh, it's fine, don't worry. And like Jordan kind of brushes it off. I liked that Jordan goes off and talks to the invisible guy to get some advice. Point, he's bollock naked talking to her doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he could just be in clothes.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be naked all the time, but he is, other than his hat and glasses.
Yes. It's a
And
it's a
at
brand
the party,
choice.
a ball gag.
Yes, it's a brand choice.
Yeah.
I like as well though that they get their mind wiped, but like she can wipe their minds, but the sort of people they are, like a Marie and stuff, it's like you can't stop her, like that intuition and thinking something's wrong and something's off, which then makes me go back to like, she clearly was wiping Sam's mind, which is why he started having these like, he kept thinking about his brother. It was coming in dreams.
Yeah.
And there was obviously like,
She didn't wipe Sam's mind, she wiped Golden Boy's mind.
Golden Boy's mind. And it was like things were coming back and he was like getting it through dreams, and she can only do so much. And her, like, you see from at the party when they wake up, Marie's already like rubbing her shoulder before we even know that that's important.
The foreshadowing and thought put into this show is so good. It's a love letter to telling a good story.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they're superheroes and have superpowers is secondary.
Yeah.
Yes, it's written into the story for like as like their thing, but they're thinking first about good writing, good honest writing, telling a story the right way. They're like, okay, we've got this, but as we know, all stories have conflict. It doesn't have to always be violent conflict, but they have conflict. And then when it gets to the conflict part, they're like, right, so this girl can use her blood as a fucking weapon.
Yeah. That's the thing as well. It's like we're slowly seeing actually how, like, I talked about it last week when I said, just imagine she's on like a battlefield and she's got all that blood to use, like she'd be crazy strong. Didn't think about the levels of which she has like kind of intuition about blood and understanding.
She's like one with the blood. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that's been referenced up until now.
No, she'd only like, we've only seen her like control her own, and then we get the first mention of it is after Sam had been there at the party, and she goes, "That wasn't his blood under his fingernails," which is like the craziest thing to notice and know. And then Emma's like, "Oh yeah, when am I getting my period?" And she can just she understands that, and then she cannot clearly feel the blood clot.
Yeah,
like she has
weird,
crazy blood sense.
Yeah.
Obviously finding the trackers was that moment of when she's like, there's a clot of blood or something. And like that moment when she's realizing there's something there, so she goes to take it out. I was like, it's gonna be a fucking tracker. It's gonna, like, they've chipped them. At this point, I'm still thinking honest, it's the lab that done this.
In my head, I wasn't thinking that. I was expecting her to go like that and be like, "Oh my god, that's a massive bruise. What the fuck's that?" And then like be like, "Oh, I must have been in a fight or something."
Yeah.
So when I think of blood clots, I was thinking a lot like pallets and stuff, like
to
heal a wound or whatever. But then when she's like, I'm like, "Oh," and then like the blood splatters on the mirror. I'm like,
Yeah, they're just, and then it's the tracker. Same with what we saw in, was it in Starlight? They took out Starlight, and what Black Noir took out of himself. It's all,
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
same tracker.
yeah.
At that point though, I'm like, holy shit, what happened? Who, like, has the lab chipped them? Like, I was like, surely, like, did they get stopped then? And then obviously the Rufus stuff, and you're like, oh shit, the Dean's working with Rufus. Like, nah, it's all just misdirection.
Constant. But we get the massive reveal right at the end of the episode that this doctor is working on a virus for Vought
Yes.
so that they can control the soups with a lot less problem.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. They're always trying to find a solution to have a fallback in case something goes wrong. For Homelander, they tried using his son.
They are terrified of the power people like Homelander possess.
Yes.
They need a way to control these people, or if they can't control them, kill them easily.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen that Sam is clearly bulletproof,
Yeah.
clearly crazy fast, crazy strong, can leap over tall
Mhm.
buildings. Someone like that having a psychotic break when the entire world now knows that Vought created superpowers is not something you need on the news.
No. Especially now, like, yeah, anytime there's something goes wrong with a soup, it's just gonna be like, ah, Vought, you did this. So them having like a solution to that, because obviously at the moment we know with Soldier Boy, they're only able to put him back on ice. Like, they're not able to deal with the fact that he is basically unstoppable, nearly.
Yeah.
Interesting, that makes sense that he wanted Marie because of her crazy blood bending powers. Maybe she can like sense the V in people's blood or something.
She clearly has an innate connection with blood, which is a fucking
Yes.
wild sentence. But I've got a feeling that, yeah, by understanding how her powers work, you could make an airborne virus that you could just release as an aerosol that could find blood that has V in it and latch onto that person.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's someone out there who they don't know it has superpowers, they're still going to have control over them.
Yeah. It's going to be something to like attack the V that is in people's blood and stuff.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, who is Marie's benefactor?
Yes.
I have one theory.
Okay.
Ex-CEO of Vought, who...
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
Character.
Who, his daughter turned on him. He now no longer has anyone in his back pocket. Discovers we already know he got his adopted daughter from the same
Nice.
same orphanage.
Yeah. And he clearly likes powers that allow you to kill someone from afar very easily.
Yes, and he likes people that are crazy strong because at the end of the day, he's trying to control Homelander.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't surprise me if he's helped kind of pave the way a bit to get her in.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think the Dean might have been lying about the benefactor because she wants Marie and she wants Marie under her thumb as her protection because she doesn't have powers and she's trying to deal with people who do. And
Yeah,
she doesn't
maybe.
want to have to blackmail people like Tech Knight. She wants someone like Marie who can just, make all their blood leave their body and just let them die. Or blow their heart up inside their chest, or make their blood clot. We don't know the level of her powers. Can she give someone a brain aneurysm from 100 yards away, a mile away?
Essentially.
Like, what's her limit here? Everyone else we've seen who's this powerful has like a problem at the other end. Like A-Train, like he's blown out his knee, can't recover from it. He gave himself a heart attack trying to go faster, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've got Katie, who obviously when she's pushing too hard, she fucking collapses.
Yeah.
What's Marie's con? And I've got a feeling that's going to end up being a big problem.
I think at the moment her con is she's using her own blood, so obviously she has limited supply and she gets lightheaded a bit. Then that's showing her on like good mode. If she goes like evil mode and uses other people's blood, like, it doesn't affect her. So yeah, I think
Imagine she throws a punch, breaks your nose, and as your blood's coming out, she turns it into a knife to slit your throat. Do you know how
essentially,
fucking wild that is?
yeah, she essentially could be like the strongest.
100%. 100%. This episode was phenomenal, and I just want more of this show.
Yeah, and I love that it's just manipulation nonstop. It's just everyone is
100%.
manipulating everyone, and it ain't stopping here. There's going to be more
Absolutely.
of it.
So much more. I literally cannot wait for the next episode.
Same.